What's up guys, Cameron Foose here with Iconic. Today on the profile we are featuring Peter Voogd, who is a 2-time international best-selling author and founder of the Game Changers Academy. Let's check him out. Alright guys, so they are lining up the cars right now. They got the McLaren coming up. That's what I'm gonna be driving. Woo, that thing is nice and clean. Norbert's over here getting ready to on the gimbal. I got my nice little orange suit on so I don't get run over by one of these cars. We're about to make this happen. Let's do it. Yeah. Get it. Oh boy. We got the Interceptor. Go get him, Coffee. Yeah. All right, so it appears this is gonna be where they're gonna become zooming past for the finishing lap. Here they go. We got the McLaren coming up first here. Woo! Already. Woo! The Huracan coming. Yeah. That's what is fucking fire. Lekker brew. Alright guys, so we're getting ready to go meet Peter. It's funny, I haven't seen or talked to him in probably about 15 years. I just randomly came across his Instagram about a week ago, hit him up and said, yo bro, I'd love to have you on the profile. So we're here today getting this set up. He's right over here. We're gonna go say what's up. Yo, Peter. What's going on, bro? Long time no see, man. No, man, I'm excited. It's been forever, bro. Who's gonna win, guys? Me or Peter today?
You're McLaren. We'll see how that goes. What am I driving?
Huracan. I think they're about the same. So I got about a 0.1 second advantage.
It's going down today. He takes the faster car, but we'll see who wins. See who wins.
All right, guys, it is training time. We got to go take a couple laps in this Cayenne. They're gonna give us a little run around about the course. We go a little fast. All right, we're getting ready for our first fast lap here.
All right, guys, so take a look out the right window. You'll see the drifter coming by us here. Take a look.
Yeah.
Alright guys, that is so badass.
When the Cayenne catches the GT3, you know that person is inexperienced.
Just drive my car and me just enjoy it.
Now it's going down for real.
Dude, that was badass.
Yeah, you ready to make this happen, bro?
Give me my Huracan. Let's go.
All right, guys, we got Peter's buddy, Gerard Adams. If you don't know who he is, he's the founder of Elite Daily, also Leaders Create Leaders. Never met him before, but he's a legend. What's up, bro?
Yo, it's good,
Gerard
bro.
Adams.
Hey,
nice
what's
to
up,
meet you,
man?
bro.
Nice to meet you, too.
Elite Daily, Leaders Create Leaders. Definitely check
Yes.
this guy's stuff out. We're about to go race, me and
Fuck
Peter,
yeah.
so going down.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Peter's hopping in the whip, going down. How's it feel, bro?
I'm ready to go, bro.
Gotta get myself one of these helmets. Safety first. Hairnet, there we go. Good? Yep. Yo, it's Norbs. How do I look?
Good. Like a horse rider.
Alright, let's go. Oh, Pierce! He's going! Woo!
Thought you wanted every part, and you never wanted to forget this. You wondered what it felt like. Now you know what it feels like. It feels like cold, cold water running down your back. You know what it feels like. She could be the one, she could leave you right now. This is what it feels like. What it feels like. This is what it feels like. What it feels like. This is what it feels like. It feels like. This is what it feels like. She can build you up, she can build you right down. This is what it feels like. feels like, what it feels like. She could be the one, she could leave you right now. This is what it feels like, what it feels like.
Yo, that was epic. My heart's fucking pounding right now. A little tempting.
Who won?
That's what we gotta go check out right now, guys. Who won between me and Peter? Who had the best lap time?
Yep.
I'm pretty confident I won, but we'll see.
Checking the footage.
Yeah.
Dude,
How was
that
dude?
so
That was
sick,
ice.
dude.
You were going crazy. I think you might have been faster than me.
Your 5 laps were done a little quicker than Peter's.
Yeah, I was fucking on
On
it.
the road to figure out how to max it out.
Dude,
It was just
it's
like,
a science.
That's
dude.
nuts, dude.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. So we'll go check out, see what this USB stick has to tell us. Best lap. 1:03 for Sifa's here. That's it. On balls, guys. Next up, we're going for a drifting lap in the Interceptor. It's gonna be me, Peter, and Norbert up front, but this thing is the biggest beast on the track because he gets loose around these corners. So this is gonna be hectic. Let's go do this.
Where do you want to set?
Well, if they want to go first, and then I'll do a second lap. I think.
I will try to do my best.
Are you driving us?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah. That's what I'm talking about. All right, now a little more pumped. I think I'm a little bit more nervous about the drifting than the actual, the racing part. So this is gonna be hectic. Me and Peter are gonna be chilling in the back here together. Let's go. All right. You ready to do this, Pete? Going down, the man himself, the pro.
Today is all about adrenaline.
Norbert, I will ask you just one thing. Don't grab my arm and put this over here, please.
Don't grab my arm.
Okay.
700 horses.
707, something like that. Removing the traction control
No traction.
of.
See ya.
I'm already freaked out. Chill out, brother.
Oh, fuck. 700 horsepower right here, bro.
Insane, bro. This is insane.
Oh, see ya. Oh, shit. Oh, my lord.
How was it, guys?
That was very boring. No excitement at all.
God. Oh, man. That was fucking...
Oh my god. That got my stomach, bro.
Holy
Some 2
shit.
times and you will do that by yourself, guys.
Woo.
Thank you for coming,
You're
guys.
the man.
Can you open the door?
Yeah, of course.
Awesome, man. That was excellent.
Thank you. So,
That was
Cameron,
sick.
I think.
All right, guys, today we are here with my buddy Peter Voogd. We go way back. We went to high school together, and now we're having him on the profile today. And dude, it's crazy. Like, literally just like a week and a half ago, I just randomly came across your profile on Instagram, and I was like, damn, Peter's been killing it. Like, or at first I just saw your picture, and I was like, how do I know this guy? And then I just put it 2 and 2 together. I was like, damn, I went to high school with this dude.
I was
So-
excited when you reached out, man.
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
You're crushing it too. It's
So
fun.
I basically just reached out and said, yo, bro, we're doing this show called The Profile. Love to have you on. As you can see, we're at Exotics Racing Speedway here in Los Angeles. You can hear these cars running around, so it's pretty crazy. But dude, I just kind of want to get into your story. Like, obviously I haven't seen you in over a decade, and then all of a sudden I see you on Instagram and you're just crushing it. You're doing motivational speaking, writing a book. You got this Game Changers Academy. So first of all, we both went to Churchill High School, so we both come from a small town, Eugene, Oregon. Like, when you're thinking back, like, just what was like your most fond memory of high school at Churchill? Like, the first thing that comes to your mind?
I think it was when I first got there because it was like a new school, like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
fresh. You know, when you're the new kid, it's like something fresh. So I knew some of the basketball players because I played summer ball with them.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it was just being the new kid, and because I went to high school starting my freshman year somewhere different in
Yeah,
Florence. So my first memory was probably walking in the gym with Jesse, Maurice, and some other people for summer ball, and people like, who's this new kid? I remember people wondering who
Ready
I was.
to ball out.
So that was my first memory is the dome that we had. And walking in the gym and seeing all the players, the basketball coach, Jordan Kent was actually there. Doing some scrimmage and practicing. So that's my first memory. And then there's a lot more like at the schools. Obviously New Year's was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But that was my first one, like in the gym.
Yeah, that's funny. Like when I think back, that for some reason the first thing that pops into my head, which is probably gonna make me look bad.
We're being authentic.
Yeah, I mean, I was a straight up troublemaker in high school. Like I had big ambitions and dreams when I was in high school, but I was also always like causing trouble. So I mean, obviously like Halloween comes around and sometimes you see people's mailboxes smashed. And I could definitely take the claim for that being happened. So like one night, me and my buddies, I don't know if I should call them out right now or not, or leave their names out, but you know them. So we're literally like cruising around. It's Halloween night. We're like, all right, let's go smash some mailboxes with some pumpkins. If you don't know what that is, you drive around a car, you go steal somebody's pumpkins and just go crash them into somebody's mailbox going like 50 miles an hour. And my buddy, I don't know if he did this on purpose, still to this day, I don't know. He misses the mailbox and smashes right through the windshield of somebody's car. And we're just all this like,
did that just happen?
Dead silent for a second, and all of a sudden we just all bust up laughing. And then us being stupid like 16, 17-year-olds, we decide that mailboxes are no longer fun. Now we're gonna go smash windshields. So it's
you're gonna get someone that like comments below that's like, oh my gosh, I remember that. That was you. That's funny.
Seriously.
You know what's crazy on a side note too, because I was more of like the rebel style in a way where I didn't like authority.
Yeah,
and it's funny how a lot of people that are successful now were like that.
Oh, for sure,
they didn't
dude.
really pay attention in class or didn't love the teachers. And
no, I was always getting in trouble with like the vice principal or the librarians there. Oh man, I hated the librarians there. And I also think that kind of plays into, it's not that I didn't have respect for them, but I didn't respect their position. It wasn't something that I wanted in my life. So it's kind of hard to take advice from somebody, from a librarian, even though they're your elder. But if they're trying to tell you what's right and what to do in your life.
And a lot of times they don't give us respect.
Yeah, because they think you're just, okay, you're a kid. But you know, that's something that I think is important, is to kind of only, if somebody's like that's telling you how to live your life, take that with a grain of salt or don't even listen at all, because they're not in a position that you want to be in, and they don't have anything that you want for your life yourself.
For sure.
So, I don't know, I kind of got sidetracked with that story on
no script here, dude.
Out of high school. But I also wanted to talk about just like growing up in a small town like Eugene for both of us. Like, how do you think that helped shape who you are? And do you think that was an advantage or disadvantage, like coming down to San Diego and LA and competing with people who maybe were catered to more as far as an entrepreneur, just from their upbringing in their surroundings?
Yeah, I think it was a mix of both. When I did grow up in Oregon, I thought I didn't like it when I was growing up. I'm in a small town. I want to be in a big city. I want to be in LA. I want to be in San Diego. So I felt like I missed out because I wasn't in a big city. That was my mindset when I was growing up. But then I realized as I got older, as I moved, I actually lived in Seattle for a while, then I moved down to San Diego. I realized, wow, I'm so glad I grew up in a small town. It kept me grounded, it kept my morals right. I was lucky to have great parents. So I thought it was a disadvantage, Cam, when I was growing up, but I think it helped me kind of mold into who I am today. Exactly who I am was because I grew up in Oregon.
Oh, for sure.
And now that I see the big cities, I appreciate the small town, but also would never really go back to live there. We just talked about that. I appreciate it, but I can only be there a couple days, then I'm out. Because here's the thing that kind of used to get me a little frustrated. Too many people settle. So when I go back there, almost everyone I talk to has some way or another settled, and I can't stand that. I love being in LA and San Diego and Hollywood and Seattle, because a lot of people are going for their dreams. They're reaching for big ambitions. They have high standards. So that's the one thing that did frustrate me when I used to go back, is like a lot of people settle, and it's almost okay to settle now, because when you settle, you don't feel bad because everyone else already did it.
Yeah.
So a lot of small towns, people settle. I don't like that aspect, but I like that my family's there, and I like that I have a lot of memories there, and it's fun to go back and visit, because I mean, in the hustle and bustle of LA, it's tough to get that small town feel. So I like going back, but I think it was an advantage for me because I kept grounded, but now I appreciate the big city too.
Yeah, for sure. I think it definitely gives you a lot more character.
For sure.
When you show up in a bigger city, as opposed to someone who may have a chip on their shoulder. That's born and raised there, they kind of think, I feel like they have a little bit more edge, or they just, it's just kind of a different aspect of growing up in life. I think it's good to have that kind of that like more humble approach to showing up somewhere, coming from something smaller. And
because everyone knows you in the small town.
Yeah.
We were well known as far as like our town was small. The athletics side of things, people knew us, and also like being in a smaller high school. Then going here, you're like, shit, no one knows me. So it made me hustle harder and made me get a lot more hunger as well. So I think that helped.
Yeah, no, I like it. For example, like I went from Oregon then to Boise, Idaho, and I was actually bartending in Boise. And me and my buddy who I was bartending with were like, let's go to San Diego. This is back in like 2007.
Big difference.
We're like, oh, let's get jobs bartending down there. And then you show up and are applying for jobs bartending. I'm like, oh yeah, I was at the biggest bar, most popular bar in Boise bartending. Like, you had like a job. They're like, Boise what?
Who cares?
Yeah. So it's like, it's difficult to kind of like, first get your foot in when you're going into a new spot. I also want to talk about something, being from the Pacific Northwest, there's something called seasonal affective disorder, AKA SAD. I actually did an Instagram post on this. Yeah. I did an Instagram post on this just the other week when I was back there because I felt it just being back in the PNW, like just so gloomy and stuff. And I was like, man, it is really, truly does affect my mood. So do you think that was something that maybe even inspired you to come down, or do you feel that when you go back to the Northwest and it's all cloudy and gloomy?
Really good question. One, couple things. It depends on what stage you're at in your business. When I was in Seattle, I was in such a grind stage. That's how I built the businesses I have now and everything, is because when I was in Tacoma and Seattle area, it was rainy and gloomy every day.
Yeah.
So all I did was hustle. I did nothing else. So if it was sunny, if there was beaches, if there was like amazing things to do, I don't know if I would have stayed focused.
Yeah.
So it did help me because I didn't do anything else, and it was fun for me to kind of stay focused on the hustle and grind. But the number one reason I left there is because once I started becoming more successful, I couldn't stand the weather. I couldn't stand the gloomy days. I couldn't stand that 10 months out of the year it was cold, and it does affect your mood. So it helped me at one point because I was working 6 or 7 days a week grinding, and there was nothing to do, and it was always cloudy. So I'm like, I might as well work and grind on my laptop and build my sales team. But the reason we moved is my wife, girlfriend at the time, was from Seattle area, and I was from Oregon. We both couldn't stand the rain, so we moved down, and it was a game changer to be down because it's sunny every day here. So it's interesting. I don't know if I would have hustled as hard, and that's a lesson for people that bitch and complain if they're living there. Why don't you just grind and hustle and build your business so you can live wherever you want? I can't stand, Cam, when people say, man, you're lucky, you live in San Diego. Dude, you're not a tree. Why don't you move? I don't have the money. We'll make money. It's 2018. There's a billion opportunities.
People get so locked down for their own excuses.
Yeah, it was a positive and a negative. It depends on what stage I was at in my business, but I definitely was only grinding from like 22, 23 to like 28 because there was nothing else to do.
Yeah, so. And I think there's basically, for me, I think there's 3 pillars to happiness. 1, passion about your career. 2, the network you have, the people who bring you up and your influence. And 3, I think sunlight can play a major factor in your happiness. It's being out, you're just in a better mood when it's sunny out. And I think, to have the full effect of being happy, you need all 3 of those pillars. I think you can definitely live without sunniness, but like you said, it maybe made you hustle more because there wasn't a bunch of stuff to go. You weren't like getting FOMO, like, oh man, people are at the beach today or something.
If I wanted to have fun and enjoy my life, I wouldn't have been able to. But I was just hustling, which is good at that time. But I agree, fully agree. Even when it's gloomy and cloudy, you're in a different state of mind, I feel like. It's strange.
For sure. So what happened after high school, and when did you start seeing some sort of success in your life?
So I had an eBay business. That's when I got into entrepreneurship. You might have even remembered. I was selling Jordans and selling different
you were like first on the scene.
Yeah, I was selling a lot of stuff.
The shoe game.
So a lot of people we know in high school were buying shoes from me. So I was a hustler in high school, but then everyone around me was like, Peter, you got to get a normal job. No, I don't. And everyone's like, yeah, you do. That's just how everyone does it. So after everyone told me that, I'm like, shit, maybe I have to try a normal job. Lasted 2 months, couldn't stand it, so stopped doing that. After high school, I got into direct sales. And it was the first time I had something where I could be paid based off my potential, based off my worth, to where I had no limitations. So I got into sales. I did well. I crushed sales, but big difference where motivating yourself is one thing, but motivating other people is a whole different ballgame. So I did well as an individual in direct sales. So that's the first year and a half, 2 years. Did well, made good money. And then I wanted to run my own sales organization, build my own sales team. So at like 21, 22, I moved up to Seattle from Eugene to build my own business. And I thought, I crushed it at sales, I crushed it individually, I could crush it as a leader and building a team. totally different. I didn't know how to be a leader. I was kind of egotistical. I didn't know how to motivate. I didn't know how to build systems and actually like figure out a way to build a culture. So I pissed away all my savings. I went dead broke. And from that moment, I'll never forget, Cam, being dead broke and feeling like I had no choices. I tell my family, I'm going up to Seattle to start a business. I'm gonna crush it, and then I go broke. Yeah. So I felt like I let my family down.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good.
I let everybody down, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? And from that moment, I just became obsessed with personal growth and obsessed with figuring out how to be an entrepreneur, how to build a business, how to scale. And I was able to go from dead broke to 6 figures in 6 months, and then from 6 figures to 7 figures in 2.5 years after that. And then I got more joy out of helping other people and more joy out of inspiring people to chase their dreams. And I remember when I was successful, it was fun and I was like excited. But when I helped someone else and they said I changed their life, or I helped someone else make 6 figures, that's a whole different level of fulfillment.
Oh, for sure, dude.
So I got to 7 figures and I crushed it, but there was still a ceiling in direct sales. I still was part of a company. So I went on my own in 2012 and 13 and I wrote my book. I built a website. I started writing for these big publications. I started documenting my journey. And for me, the reason I wrote my book, 6 months to 6 figures, was because I had all this, these things I was learning and all this ambition built up, and I actually built these systems in place that helped me go from broke to 6 figures. And I felt like not getting it out there, it was like held in. I was like, I could be helping so much more people.
Yeah.
That's when I wrote the book, and it blew up pretty quick, and that's what got me to speak on all these big stages and got interviews written about me from Forbes and all these things. And then I started the academy. So, I mean, it all snowballed after I went dead broke, and I developed this hunger of like, I never want to feel this way ever again.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever had that feeling where things were taken from you, but I get goosebumps. I was living in this 1-bedroom apartment in Washington, and I had no box spring, just a mattress. And I developed all my hunger from that moment. And that moment on, I will never struggle again because of that moment. So that's kind of what happened. Sales, individually, then I built a sales team, failed, went broke, struggled for a year, and then finally figured it out.
Yeah, and I think failing is what shapes you.
I failed
you have
multiple
to.
times.
Oh, for sure. I think it's just a requirement for any entrepreneur to get humbled at some point in their life to, build that growth and strength that you need to actually be a successful entrepreneur.
When people see us right now, wherever they're watching this from, they see us here with these nice cars. You're traveling, I'm going to Tulum tomorrow, you're going to Thailand and all these, Bali.
Yeah.
They don't realize that we have this hunger and drive and the money we've made because we struggled.
Yeah.
People don't realize that. So I want people to understand, I get most of my hunger from my toughest times.
Yeah.
That's why I say good luck with people that have had everything given to them.
Yeah.
They're not going to have a lot of hunger.
No, for sure. And I want to talk about your book. So I actually just read this, or I listened to an audiobook literally in the last day. And it was actually really, really good. I was pleasantly surprised how good it was. You got like over 700 awesome reviews on it on Amazon. It's called 6 Months to 6 Figures. If you guys should definitely check it out if you're watching. I found it definitely very helpful, things that I connected with. And you talk about kind of like your 6 pillars to success within those 6 months. And the first one you talk about is clarity, which is something that's like 100% true. And I was fortunate enough growing up right throughout college. Like I started my business in college and I ended up dropping out, and I've been running it for almost 13 years. And I did have clarity then. And it's almost been kind of like a transition, like why I'm starting Iconic in the first place is because I was losing my clarity. And that was something that like I never really thought about until I read it in your book. You kind of systematically create a system to an approach to being a successful entrepreneur. And I was just kind of thinking about that as I've been making this transition from a day trader to kind of more of like an entrepreneur, because I have been doing this for a while, but I was just missing something. And then I was just realizing that I was completely lost with my clarity, continuing going down this path of buying cars and day trading all the time, and that was just the only thing. So it was really cool to kind of read that, and that definitely like kind of resonated with me. Like, I need to find my clarity again because I lost it, and I was fortunate to find it early, but I kind of lost my passion for my career path that I was on. So I thought that was really cool. Another one is your network, which is huge.
That's my biggest game changer.
Yeah, your network, and that's something that I'm working on a lot now, especially with this show. Like, I probably would have never ran into you or met you unless I started this show for networking, because day trading, when you're day trading, you're trying to become a good day trader, you're sitting at home alone on your computer all the fucking time. And that's what I did a lot throughout my 20s, and I regret that. Like, I look back and it sucks to have a regret, to look back in my 20s and be like, damn, I spent so much time trying to become a day trader, and it was me sitting at home alone on my computer. And for you guys watching that are, you know, also going through my training course, it doesn't have to be that way. You can meet a lot of other day traders throughout the world. The problem is that day trading kind of, it's easy to put you in that situation of being at home alone studying.
And
so
not networking or meeting.
yeah. So I think that is such a big importance. So for you, tell us a little bit about those two things, clarity and networking, how that kind of shaped your life and your success today.
So clarity is the ultimate leverage and ultimate power, and I just see 99% of entrepreneurs don't have clarity.
Yeah.
Once you have clarity, it's the biggest motivation. You're more focused. You know exactly what you want to accomplish. You're more resourceful. You're more aware. So for me, when I was dead broke, I had no clarity, but I knew two things. I was never going to be broke again, and I knew that I wanted to build a life on my terms because I was unemployable.
Yeah.
So clarity was the biggest, the two things you hit on were the two things that changed my life the most. And it's important because I always reevaluate every couple months and every year to make sure I have a great network and great clarity.
Yeah.
So the first thing for me is you have to figure out exactly who you are and what you want and who you're not and who you need on your team. So I created this one-page document, and let's get tactical, we can share it. So I figured out exactly what my ideal outcome was for the next 6 months. So if I ask people, Cam, and I say, hey, what's your ideal vision for the next 6 months for your business and for your life? 99 out of 100 people, I don't know, I want to make money, I want to travel. No shit, everybody does.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean anything. You have to get crystal clear. And here's the scary thing. Most people base their clarity on their future off of their past insecurities or off of their experiences.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. Because most people haven't been extremely successful, so they base it off their failures or their frustrations. No. Here's the key that I did. I had a mentor, so I somehow was able to base my vision off of what I wanted with no limitations. Okay, if my life was perfect, what would be ideal? I'd be traveling, I'd be impacting people, I'd be making 30 grand a month, 40 grand a month, 50 grand a month, and I made an ideal vision, exactly what I wanted. And then I obviously had to reverse engineer, break it down. But that's the first step is, if there was no limitations, what would your life look like in 6 months ideally? And who do you have to become to get there? Next thing I wrote down is my values of what's most important to me, because if you don't live based off your values, you'll eventually be frustrated and you're gonna live incongruently. So for example, one of my values is flexibility and freedom and peace of mind and family. So if I didn't know my values, for example, if someone's value is flexibility and freedom, and then they have a job that they don't have any flexibility, what happens? They die inside. They're regretful, they're frustrated. So I had to figure out my values, okay, I wanna travel, I wanna have flexibility, I wanna have financial freedom where I never have money issues again. And then everything that came across my desk, or everything that I looked at as far as what I wanted to take on in my career, it matched those values. Then I wrote down, so for you watching, you gotta get rid of all the noise in your head and all the fuzzy thinking and get crystal clear on who you are and what you want, and then make sure what you're doing is gonna keep you engaged and fascinated the next 3 to 5 years. A lot of people, they get into something because it's a trend or it's their friend says do this and they do it, and then 2, 3, 5, 6 years go by. Maybe they made some money, but they can't sell it, it's not scalable. They're like, shit, I just wasted blank, right? So I didn't want that. So I got clarity. Then I wrote down the 5 things I wanted to accomplish that were relevant to that 6-month vision. So I got clarity on what exactly I needed to accomplish to be on track to hit those goals. And then below that, this is a big one. I wrote down all my reasons, my strongest reasons why I wanted to build this lifestyle.
Yeah.
Most people don't have strong enough reasons. If you don't have reasons that are waking you up at 4 or 5 in the morning, fired up and excited and juiced to go start your day, you don't have strong enough reasons. And you're gonna give up at the first sight of failure. So I had to stack all these reasons. I wrote down 25 to 50 things of why I wanted to be an entrepreneur, why I wanted to thrive, why I wanted financial freedom, why I couldn't stand being broke, why, if there's 1,700 new millionaires created every day in the US. You realize that?
That's insane.
Every day. And they say that
crazy.
Fortune said the number 1 reason there's not more is people don't have enough reasons to become one.
Yeah.
So if you're sitting there, I want to be a millionaire. No, you don't. Not if you slept in this morning. You're not that serious, to be honest. So I got clear on my reasons, and when you have reasons, the results come next.
Yeah.
And then I wrote down what's the 1 or 2 skills I have to master in order to get to that 60-year vision, period. And then I focused on mastery. So I see a lot of millennials and entrepreneurs studying everything. They listen to every podcast, every book, every video. They go to every seminar. Then they're overwhelmed.
Yeah, you talk about that in your book, the overload versus mastery.
100%. So that was a big thing about clarity. I got crystal clear on who I was, what I wanted, and I had reasons to accomplish it, and then I found the right people that could cut my learning curve in half, and I said, okay, I'm only gonna master memberships or marketing or influencer or whatever. I'm gonna master these things that I know are relevant, and then that's all I studied for like 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
And then I made a list of the 5 or 10 people in my industry who were already crushing it, who I wanted to connect with, who could cut my learning curve in half. And the quote that changed the game for me, I said it in my book, is if you want to be a millionaire, talk to billionaires, you'll get there quicker.
Yeah.
So when I was broke, I was only connecting with people that were making $500,000 plus. People always ask me, Cam, you were broke and you made 6 figures. How the hell did you do that so fast? Well, if I'm only talking to people making $500,000, how could I not make 6 figures if I just do what they do?
Your network is your net
Period.
worth. It's just
so I
classic
elevated my
quote.
network, and I got rid of there was maintenance friends I had that were just like holding me back, and I was 22 at the time, broke, so all my friends were like, dude, you're 22, you're supposed to be broke. And I'm like, I don't think I'm supposed to be broke, bro.
Yeah, I feel that way. Yeah.
Maybe that's what you want to do, but I'm not supposed to be broke. I don't want to feel this way.
Yeah.
So I started lowering the time I spent with those friends, and I started hiring the time I spent with like growth friends, people that challenge me and me think different. So that's the power of it. It's just getting clarity on what you want. And here's the kicker. When I didn't have clarity, I didn't go party. I didn't say, oh, I'll figure it out later. When I didn't have clarity, I kept asking myself the right questions until I had clarity.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, oh, it's gonna be in 2 weeks I'll have clarity. No, it took me a couple months. Most people give up before they give themselves a chance to have clarity. And they just go do something else, or they settle and get an average job. Don't do that. You should figure out what you wanna do and get clarity until you have it.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. So those are the 2 things that changed the game for me. So I'm glad those stuck out to you.
Yeah,
They
for
changed
sure,
my life.
100%. All right, so you were kind of just touching on people complaining that Ferrari is. Talking about people complaining, and it's funny because I was reading some of the bad reviews on your book. You know, everybody's got bad reviews, but if you look, you have like a shitload of amazing reviews. But the people that were complaining about it were talking about that it wasn't a blueprint to actually make money. And it's funny because a lot of people don't realize it. And your book is actually great because the fact is that it's showing you how to become the man you need to be to have the confidence to actually run something successful. So
Any
I thought
business.
that, yeah.
And it's funny, if you need me to tell you what industries or how to make money, you don't deserve money anyways.
Yeah.
Figure that out on your own. I'm just giving you the roadmap on how to become the person like you said. It's cool you notice that. The achievers notice it, a lot of people don't.
Yeah. So obviously, like, I've been running a business for 13 years, so I have a little bit of heads up, but that's something that people need to understand is that there's no blueprint to start a 6-figure business. Like, here's a freaking cookie business, go make some money. You know, it's like, you need to have the mindset and the kind of talent to actually do that, and that's what your book provides.
Yep,
and that kind of transitions to Game Changers Academy. So this is the business that you run now. What is it? Like, you know, what does it solve and who is it for?
So the Academy, you know how most entrepreneurs struggle with inconsistent income. They don't really have the guidance, and they don't have the network they need to get to that next level of success, influence, peace of mind, mindset, results. So it solves that problem. We give people the tools and the resources to build a network and to rise above the noise and be a game changer in their industry. So how I created it was, I took my strengths of motivating people.
Cross through here so we don't.
So I took my strengths, Cam, of motivating people and really teaching people not just how to make money, but how to live a life on their terms, and my strength of connections. I knew a lot of people in the industry, and I brought them into one. So there was no all-in-one resource for the entrepreneur to level up their game in the new economy. There's a lot of different programs that promise you this, they give you this, but the problem it solves is people now have the all-in-one encompassing academy to accomplish whatever they want. So all the resources, we have a lot of different partnerships with different companies. So if they need a web designer, if they need a marketer, if they need help with this, if they need help with any subject, we have the connection for them. And we've spent the last 5 or 6 years vetting thousands of different companies to give them all the resources, training, guidance, and network they need to become the best at what they do.
Yeah.
And when I say best at what they do, I mean to position themselves as the leading authority where people come to them versus them chasing people.
Yeah.
And that's the new age marketing, like we talked about, is
That's
not
the
just
state of the economy, dude, the
100%.
state of marketing.
If you position yourself as the go-to brand and you have a skill that can solve a problem, people come to you if you're positioned right. So we teach them that, and it's been going on for 5.5, 6 years. I just could not find a program, and I spent thousands and thousands of dollars to try to find a program that solves that problem for me.
Oh yeah, and there's so many gurus out there these days, dude. Just everybody trying to sell products, but that's also where education is going. You know, it's you can either pay a 20 to 100K to go to school for 4 years, or you can find someone that you look up to and figure out how they did it at a very fraction of the cost.
Yep.
So I think the school system is totally screwed.
We could talk about that for an hour.
Yeah, right.
But it gives people the guidance, and a lot of the younger entrepreneurs that we accept, you have to be accepted. It's tougher to get into, but we vet them. We make sure they have results. They're serious. So when you come into it, you actually have a great network of people already that are proven, and there's 4 different levels. But a lot of these people wouldn't have access to like a Tony Robbins or a Tim Ferriss or a Ariana Huffington. We have Elon Musk coming up. We've had Gary Vaynerchuk, Eric Thomas, Ryan Blair. We've had Tim Grover, the trainer that trained Michael Jordan. So we have all these millionaire speakers that they get access to, and we also do mastermind calls every month as well. So it's just like a great resource for entrepreneurs to level up, because there's just not a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah, that's super cool, man. So anyways, we want to shut this down with a quick 20 question.
I'm excited. I don't know what these questions are. He's been pumped about it for like an hour, so we'll see how this goes.
We literally came up with these on the drive up here, but super fast, snap fire questions.
Let's do it.
Let's go. Hillary Clinton or Bill Clinton?
Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton.
Nike or Adidas?
Nike.
Jordan or Kobe?
Jordan.
Justin Bieber or Selena Gomez?
Bieber.
Favorite place you've ever visited?
Ooh, Dubai.
If Elon Musk invited you to go to Mars but you couldn't come back, would you go?
If I could take like 2 or 3 people, yes.
Mac or PC?
Mac.
iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
Business attire or casual attire?
I'm gonna let you guys look at my attire and figure it out. I haven't worn a tie in like 5 years.
Look at our outfits.
Yeah.
We literally just showed up
That answers
as the
that
same shit. Celebrity crush?
Jessica Alba.
Woo! Would you rather lose an arm or a leg?
Arm.
Biggest fear?
I don't want to say it because then you'll make me do it. It was skydiving. Now it's not. So it's not skydiving.
Noted.
Man, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
I try to face all my fears.
Yeah.
I think honestly, this might sound kind of corny, but my biggest fear is like regret, mediocrity, being average. That's my biggest fear is like not accomplishing my potential.
100%. Beach life or city life?
Beach life.
LA or San Diego?
Well, I'm in San Diego, so San Diego, but I like both.
Yeah. Donald Trump or Melania Trump?
Melania Trump.
That's what I would have said. First thing you do right after you wake up?
Drink a ton of water and then go work out.
Calling or texting?
Voice texting now. I don't text.
Yeah. Lambo or McLaren?
Lambo.
There you go. Boom. All right, guys, that wraps it up. Dude, so awesome to have you on the show, bro, for sure. Check out all these episodes, guys. Definitely check out Peter Voogd. His shit is real. I just read his book yesterday. Definitely recommend checking it out. Stay tuned for the next episode. Like, comment, share, do what you got to do to spread awareness, and we'll catch you in the next episode.
All love.
Peace.
Thanks, guys.
Head left. Balance the catch and more. Just start to unwind the wheel as you squeeze the throttle. Use the whole track. Good job, man. Brake hard. Hard brakes. Perfect. More brake a little bit. Stay on the left. A little bit too soon on the turning point. You are doing amazing. Just make sure you wait before turning. Look across. Make it straight. Upshift. Brake straight. Downshift. Be patient on the turning. Now turning. Look across. Start to squeeze the throttle. Stay on the right side. Brake. Stay right. Stay right. Stay right. Stay right. Now turning left. Little bit too soon still. Let's try to wait for the turning point to start turning. Back to the left. Stay on it. Brake hard. Hard brakes. Good job. Stay right. Stay right. Stay right. Stay right. Be patient. Stay left. Now squeeze the throttle. Brake. Awesome. Be patient. Now squeeze the throttle more. Go full throttle. Brake straight. Awesome. How do you like it, man?
No, that's great, man.
Turn it left. There we go.
Brake, brake, brake. Turn it to the left. Cross to the left for the next apex. Keep turning, keep turning. Start squeezing the throttle. Unwind out to the right side. Full throttle all the way to the orange markers. At the orange markers, start braking. Brake hard. Downshift. Brake, 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 brake. Turn it to the left. A little bit hot on entries. You can feel the car fighting you, right?
Yeah.
Wait for the green cone. At the green cone, turn into the right. Keep turning. Now squeeze the throttle. Full throttle. Full throttle. All the way down. When you shift, don't let go of the gas. Shift up. Start braking. Brake hard. Brake, brake, brake. Brake, downshift, turn into the left, squeeze the throttle, accelerate to the core, a little bit more throttle, full throttle to the orange cones, back on the brakes, brake hard, brake, 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 turn into the left, cross to the right for the exit, squeeze the throttle again, full throttle, stay on the left here, all the way to the orange markers, keep going, keep going, keep going, back on the brakes, brake hard, wait for that green marker, turn into the right, keep turning side, full throttle, all the way to the orange cones. Just a little bit of brakes, turn into the right, back on throttle again. Squeeze the throttle, full throttle, all the way to the markers. Back on the brakes, brake hard, brake.
Damn, that is
Turn into the left.
insane how it does that.
Crush to
Yeah, I just wanna drink tequila with my friend. She says she cheated cause she trying to get ahead. The more I read it, yeah, the more I take offense. I'm so defeated.